Chinedu, the one that is very popular. Chinedu. Eh? Now so una go they get hard on right there. Eh? And you begin to what? You begin to masturbate in public. As if to say I mean, somebody is about to actually, take your life from you right there. And that person is an Igbo man. They call it Igbophobia, of course. Igbophobia. It's also what we call the Yoruba phobia. So when I'm talking to my people, it's because I know all the bigots. I know all those, the political, what do you call them? Those one with the political association, especially those who are with the APC, Egbekegbe. It's because I am a Yoruba man, and there are so many Yorubas like me that are not proud to call these Olori Brukus one of us. So when I am talking to them, all of them will get Yoruba phobia inside you. Don't come here and begin to feel like, hey, that's a Yoruba man. Yes, I said it too. Even me, I know that. Go shut up your trashy mouth, okay? I'm talking to my own brother there. I want you, if you don't have any phobia for Yoruba in your own way too, I want you to say the same thing to that your brother. Because you see all these messed up idiots, this ethnic jingoisti, all these tribal champions, local champions, majority of them, they are motivated by their political association. They do not speak for majority of us. They are actually an aberration, shame that we just have to share a nationality with. And we do know them very well. In our case, it's becoming worse to the point that this political madness, they are taking it even further, trying to now divide families, creating bloodline to say this one is half blood, that one is not full blood, this one is Yoruba blood, this one is a mixed blood. So when I'm talking to them, please let me talk to them. That doesn't mean that if you are one of the bigots as an Igbo man or woman who has your own bias or prejudice against the Yorubas, that doesn't give you that muzzle to begin to now press your muzzle like lizard. You understand me? So let me talk to these Olori Brukus that are bringing shame to Yoruba land simply because of the crumbs they are being promised by APC, Egbekegbe. The party that continue to impoverish them, destroy them, ruin whatever could make them what they should be. And what they have turned them to right now, they have become danger to not just to those they have been made to hate, even themselves, to the point that they are hating themselves too. They are calling their fellow Yorubas names, Omoale, Omogba, Omoawo, when those who are dipping them in abject poverty continues. So they are bringing all this destruction to us too. They are destroying themselves and they are destroying Yoruba land, but they don't know. So all of them now, where they do your Ronukus, Ronu Nazis, your Igbophobia, the one that you said you have sworn till you die, go do because you see the ones that are really problems, the ones that are going to really show now that in their own belief, they are superior to you. You are just common infidels. They are just doing you favor. Now those ones go comfort if numbu. Now those ones you better they learn how to use your bigotry very well. You better you better begin to save your energy. Because now then you go need the energy in the next few months. Those who are going to use dog whistle to send you with dog whistle, telling you, like people like Onofunuga, they will let you know that the northern Muslim, now them they sabotage Tifnumbu, so that all of them are where they waste your energy on Igbophobia. You better begin to put it together to look after those who are coming for you, because they will, or they are already coming for you. Do you understand that? So Onofunuga is already wetting the ground for that. The long throat man, 70 years old man. And the senator there, Ningi, said, this is not an attack on him. We are saying that some of our colleagues have inserted non-existing projects worth 3.7 trillion naira. And that is what Tinubu is implementing. We've discovered that. That doesn't mean that we are coming for him. Of course, they are coming for him. They said they didn't share the appointment well. They have already started putting posters in Abuja, where they are already pointing fingers at El Rufaya. Maybe you all have been here when we continue to remind you that El Rufaya was the one pointed as the Northwest governor, not central governor, then she Northwest. I don't care. Kaduna governor is the governor that is sponsoring Boko Haram in Nigeria. El Rufaya is his name. It was there. It's not an hidden secret. I mean, it's an open secret. But do you know something? Even the APC, this Lagos Abobakus, they know. But since they are all members of Al-Qaeda People's Congress, Akpa People's Congress, they would rather just die like it is a cult. Now they don't print posters now, putting posters in Abuja, telling everybody that El Rufaya is a suspect. El Rufaya is the one destabilizing the Tinubu's government. El Rufaya is the one going after some of these things, all this Burundi change that BDCs that make Nigerian naira to fall. El Rufaya is behind it. But I want to posters, posters there, Abuja, warning people, warning them of El Rufaya. El Rufaya, the same El Rufaya, their own El Rufaya. Because this El Rufaya don't tell everybody, say, Ingo contest 2023 APC ticket. Therefore, true or false, the Lagos Abobakus, they don't want that. So now better save your energy. Because as it is, maybe say the senator where they expose those who are stealing, who padded your budget, is not going to have his own share too from the padded budget. Or at least the fact that he's still saying if they want to suspend him, they should suspend him. If they want to arrest him, they should arrest him. If they want to charge him to court, they should do that now. But he will not have to stop letting people know. There are more. Then Tinubu says something that the student loan is coming soon. Now they said this is the guy in charge of the Education Trust Fund in Nigeria. You know, the student loan was supposed to come in October 2022. I'm sorry, 2023. Well, they changed that to December 2023. Then they changed it again to no date. Then in January 2024, they said, oh, it's going to kick off by the 10th of January. That's not long ago. Then the January 10th came. 20th came. January came to an end. By the 2nd of February, they came back again and said, no, it's going to start. We are doing everything by the 21st of February. The student loan will kick off. Ladies and gentlemen, 21st of February came. 29th of February came. If February enter 31st, it will come and pass and gone. But somebody was on Channels Television today. They call him the guy in charge of the Nigeria Education Trust Fund. Here is his explanation of why the student loan is here to come, but it's going to come.
A few things which I'd like you to clarify. The opportunity to be funded through these loans all the way through their educational
So there's no
journey.
collateral?
There's no collateral. There are obviously some eligibility criteria, which is clearly spelled out in the law.
So that's another problem. The criteria is bring a civil servant who is also, bring a judge that is this, bring the requirement looks like encumbrance. That makes it more difficult. If you're asking that indigent student should be able to have access, and you're asking them to bring all of these instruments for them to be able to get a facility, there are those who think that that is not genuine enough.
Okay. So again, let's go back to the fact that this is a loan. It's not a grant. It's a loan. And, in as much as it's an interest-free loan and we're making it easy for people to access this loan, we still also have to remember that these are public funds. These funds belong to you and I and other people, and we have to disperse these funds responsibly. We have to ensure that those who we're giving the funds to, one, are using it for the right thing, and those are catered for by direct disbursements to tertiary institutions. But we also need to know that the people that are applying for these loans and are getting these loans actually are able to qualify for them by showing not so much collateral, but that they are bona fide members of society, people who are well-intentioned, and therefore there are certain criteria.
So the criteria have been criticized, and perhaps in tweaking the law, maybe the federal government will also be thinking, if people have all of these people around them, they wouldn't need these loans. So if you're asking them to bring a leg and an arm to salvage a broken leg, why do they need a loan if there is a proper leg in the first place? Sure. So the question is, are you thinking, if you want to make the lives of the average Nigerian better or the indigent student better, are you trying as much as possible to make it easier for them?
Okay, so remember at the beginning of our conversation, I said that, this law is not perfect. To a large degree, we're going to need to see how it plays out, okay? But it's better than nothing. At the moment, we have a law introduced during the previous administration's tenure. Today, we've inherited something that we think is a good start. It's workable. As soon as we start to operate this, we are going to look at where we need to tweak it, what the uptake is. I can tell you today that, there are 1.2 million people in tertiary institutions, publicly owned tertiary institutions in Nigeria today. When applications come in, we could get 5 million applications. We simply don't know. There's pent-up demand for education in this country. And when that comes through, we're going to have to sift through.
One question. Do you believe that guy? And everything he said, do you? Do you give him the benefit of the doubt? Will you give him the benefit of the doubt? No. That's better. I thought you were going to say yes. I'll be like, oh my God, I have failed. So there's somebody on this platform that will believe anything that comes out of the mouth of these rogues. Even while they are talking, you could actually see through. You could see through the lies. You could see the lies through him. Nothing make any sense. Somebody is asking that you have to give a arm and a leg before you can even qualify to take the loan. But he flippantly just kind of make it look, he said, no, you just need somebody that is known in the society just to acknowledge that you are so and so, make it look like that. This money is going to come from the public purse, and it's you and I's money. We need to make sure that none of everything is said there is part of what they said in their student loan, by the way. So do you want me to to remind you few? I will. To get a student loan, your entire household, the place you live, must not be earning anything more than 500,000 naira, which means you must be earning less than 500,000 naira. That's number one. You must be a student. Okay, yeah, you must be a student. And in your household, nobody must earn more than 500,000 naira in a year. Because every month, because some of you are like, that's good now, because we know they earn more than 60,000 in my household. The total money where they come inside our house now, just 100,000 naira in a month. Oh, qualify. You are not qualified. A year annually means, say now 12 months, they 1 year. And if you divide that, the 500,000 naira by 12, now about 40,000 naira you go get to. Abi? Well, maybe not 40, maybe 45,000 naira a month. So that means you must be very, very, very poor that the entire household only make 45,000 naira in a month. Do you want to know the truth? Most of the families that earn that small, that little, they are in their millions, by the way. Oh. They know they go university. What they won't go do? Some of them know they even send their children to school at all at that stage. And I'm not kidding you. So it simply means you that is already paying 450,000 naira school fees. That means in your household, you are earning more than that. So number one, that may not qualify you. But somebody is going to tell you, don't listen to Mayegun. It's not that bad. Just go and pick up the form. I'm just saying that when they tell you, say you no qualify, you will need to drop off. Drop out of school. Shewa Kuku drop out. The letter to advise you after they deny you if they ever even open the portal for you to apply. So after they deny you, but why am I trying to make it easier for you? I'm going to do it. So here is why we believe that there is nothing called student loan. It's all lies to make you feel like they are coming to help you. There is something called the National Education Trust Fund, ETF, in Nigeria. They usually get budgetary allocation too. And they carry out things like scholarships or renovation of educational facilities and all that. And you probably will see some of them in your localities. When I was growing up, you will see things like ETF, OG, SG, Ogun State Government / ETF / SUBEC, all those things, number 11103B. You remember all those things that they put on the wall when we went, in our schools then. They will say, this one is clinical project, SUBEC, ETF. They have that in Nigeria, granting a scholarship to Nigerians who applies. That is the guy in charge of that. That's the guy on your screen there. But the student loan that Bajabia Mole drafted, the essays, where you scale the part where your household is not earning more than 500,000 in a year, then you now go and look for level 14 civil servants in your area. Then you can look for the maybe bishop, reverend father, pastor, chief imam, people of that, okay? Or, so all of them they will now sign, you'll get two of them as your shorty. So they will now sign that this 500,000 you want to collect, you will pay it back when you are graduate and you are working. So if you fail to pay it back, they would have to pay it back. And if they fail to pay it back, two of you will go to jail, or you will pay the fine of 500,000 naira minimum, or as the court decides. So these are part of the conditions. So when you now finish all of that, you now give it to your school's what do you call the guy in charge of your student registration in your schools again? So they will now approve your department head or something like that. So that one will now sign it to say you are indeed a student. That is when you will now submit it. So when you submit it, so people like that will now receive your application, like from everyone else. So they will now, disburse money based on the availability of money. So from what Kolu said, when he suddenly dropped these student loan jargons, Kolu said the student loan will be funded with 1% of crude oil, money made from crude oil sale. Today, even Kolu no know how much, how many, or what amount of crude oil Nigeria is selling in a day anymore. So therefore, you can't even ask them and say, in the last 6 months, how much of the 1% from the crude oil sale that Nigeria sold and collected the money, how much is that 1% now in 6 months? so that they should give you a figure, because that's the money that was supposed to fund the student loan. That's what Kolu said. But it's a lie. So the same Kolu had to kind of, when they were planning to borrow 800 billion naira for subsidy palliative. But me no be like say, ain't no plan for you. He gave the National Assembly 240 billion naira. He gave his wife 51 billion naira. They gave Shitty Man 45 billion naira. He himself, Tifnumbu, and his office plus cars plus renovation, he himself is taking over 100 billion naira. This is just supplementary towards the end of last year. And then they promised that they will give you 8,000 naira to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Abi, he gave the judiciary 47 billion naira. Of course. And the office of the NSA, Ribadu, 15 billion naira. All this money were deducted from the money they borrowed for subsidy palliative. And up to today, they are still working on the register of how to share the money to you, the subsidy people, where they wait for subsidy palliative. So another may no be like say no good. They paid for a new yacht. 10 billion naira for a new yacht, presidential yacht. May no gonna be like say all of you where they do the greatest bagba, greatest gbogbo. You say, oh, yeah, manage this 5 billion, audio 5 billion for student loan. No. At the 5 billion, at the 10 billion, at the 800 billion, fishy, una no go see. So she will now ask this guy, what is the highest money I can borrow as a student loan? Listen.
The opportunity to be funded.
A few things which I'd like you to clarify. So quick questions. What is the benchmark? What is the mark? How much, what is the maximum any student can get?
Okay, so at the moment, we're looking purely at state-owned tertiary institutions.
That's university owned by the federal government alone.
Well, we're going to roll this out in phases, but at the moment we're looking at state-owned, so federal government, state governments, and then perhaps latterly, I know the president has expressed the view that actually every Nigerian should be entitled to get a loan to study wherever they want to study in this country. This act will make provision for that, but we're going to roll it out in phases so that we can learn as we go along and we can actually get to the people who need it most in the early phases. So you're right. We'll start with the federal universities. You asked about the benchmark. So today, there is an average cost for a session at an institution. In certain places, it's 100,000. Other places, it's 150, 200,000. Really depends on the course that you're studying. If you're studying medicine, it's one rate. If you're studying social anthropology, it's another rate. Some of these courses are 5 years, some are 3 years. So, it varies. But the intention is to give applicants who are successful, whose local...
You believe him? I tell you, it is the job, but let me explain that to you. If you are a student in Nigeria watching me right now, among those who are currently battling the choice of dropping out of school or taking a year break so that you can go and work for money because of this recent tuition increase in Nigeria. We have seen protests everywhere. We have seen complaints everywhere. People's school fees were increased from 14,000 to 180,000, 25,000 to 270,000. Some have had theirs increased to over 500, 600,000. And indeed, in Nigeria, you have the federal schools. Okay? You have the state schools. And you also have the primary education, which is meant for the local governments. Because that's how they do it in Nigeria, where they have the sharing formula. So they have a sharing formula that every month, when they share their allocations, right? The federal government will take 55%. The state government will take 25%. Local government will have 20%. Even though the 20% and 25% for the state end up in the pocket of the governors of the states. So this money is meant to maintain that, okay? So when you make decisions like if federal government says, we want to increase the salaries, minimum wage, do you remember, they are saying so to those they pay, because they do not pay everybody in Nigeria. They pay those who are working for the federal parastatals, federal government, Abi. So when you now say we are increasing it, so the state will come and say, we only take 25% of this allocation. So we cannot afford that money that you want to pay your workers. So we will pay this. Okay. Then the local government will be like, no, we can't pay that much. Oh, we will pay this. So all of them, who are controlling these, these stages of government, the money that goes to them, any decision you make doesn't really cover all of them. But when you take any any policy, you make any policy decisions, it affects everybody. Whether you are federal government workers, so you go to the same market. Whether you are state government workers, so you go to the same market. Whether you are local government workers, so you will buy from the same markets like everyone else, okay? So when the idea of student loan came, the states were like, what is he talking about? Does that mean that the federal government of Tifnubu is going to pay for the education of our wards who are like studying in the state tertiary institutions? Of course, there was no plan for any student loan, no. Here you get. But may everybody just flow with time. That's what that matter. Yeah, vibes and inshallah. Vibes and inshallah. When it is time to ask critical questions, now Allah you defined. So, here Tifnumbu says student loan means everybody. No. But they will love the state to do it too. You state, we cannot pay minimum wage of 30,000. We need you to come and pay student loan for, They will just laugh and say, student loan will come, student loan will need. Well, may everybody shall believe, say, student loan they come. How much money can they take? How much is the highest? Does that mean I can come and take my school fees every time, or sorry, every session, so that when I finish, I can pay everything up? That would be great. But where is the money? Look at this of Apoli in Kwara, who are also on the street because of the same issue. Hardship, cost of living crisis, this or that. But yet, it won't take long before you actually discover their lies, by the way. When they lie to you, just relax a minute or two. You're going to see the lie fall flat. Watch this one from AIT.
As hunger continues to bite harder across the country, especially within the low-income earners, some students and lecturers of Polytechnic in Ofa, Kwara State over the weekend took to the streets in their numbers in a peaceful rally, pleading with the federal and state governments to fulfill their campaign promises of urgent succor to Nigerians. According to the students and lecturers, addressing hunger and insecurity of lives and properties across the nation is a must for the political class as they make good their political campaign promises. Addressing journalists during the rally across the major roads in Ofa metropolis, the lecturers noted that students no longer find it easy to assimilate when they are taught in class, being on empty stomach as a result of hunger and hike in the cost of transportation and other prices of commodities, which they say have skyrocketed.
There is hunger in the land. The prices of goods and services keep increasing day by day. Everyone is affected. Both we, the students, the lecturers, market women, everybody keep complaining. So we want to urge our government, we want to urge those in power. We believe in your administration. We know you are working. In various areas you are working. But please hasten it. This hunger wants to kill some people. The suffering in the land is too much.
Currently, the most threatening issues that everybody can really perceive is hunger in the land. There is high rate of poverty. In fact, when you don't you are not well fed, it's difficult for you to really assimilate, and the transportation cost is very high. A lot of them even find it very difficult to get to the school because of cost of transportation. Some of them will have to trek about 5 miles before you come to school. You are already tired, so there is nothing a lecturer is trying to teach you that will get to your score.
The students also pleaded with the federal and state governments to urgently save them from hunger and kidnappers, insisting they deserve a better life.
We have cases of several kidnappings in the country, and we also have inflation. The price of everything in the markets now is very cost, and people can't even buy what they have with their own hard-earned money. And this is just to remind the government that we deserve a better tomorrow, a better change for everybody, for our children, for our lives. Even because we, as a student, we are also facing the issue of hardship, because we can't even ask money from our parents at home.
Food now is already expensive. So now, like Gary, now we are buying it maybe 15 naira per cup before, or 13 naira. Now it's now 150 or 200. So please, we do not want this again.
The submission of both students and lecturers here is that a better Nigeria is achievable with the political willpower and sincere commitment from the political class. Oluf
I can easily relate, but I do not have anything to add. I do not have anything to add to that report. I was just looking at the faces of the students that spoke at the end part of the video. And I was like, these students, right? The lady couldn't be probably more than 22, 23. And the young man that spoke last is probably maybe 22, 23 as well, max, or even probably younger. And look at the two of them. They were possibly born after 1999. 24 years ago, Nigeria changed from the military dictatorship to civilian dictatorship. And look at those children there. They are probably not born. They were not born in 1999. They were born after that. And in a space of 24 years, they have already joined the adventure of us screaming at camera, asking the government to think about tomorrow. This thing is too hard. Everything is expensive. Everything is very expensive. Government need to do something. And guess what? 24 years ago, their own parents, they were probably of that same age. Imagine you at 24. Your momsy is 48 or 49 or 50. And you are 24. That means your mom was just about 26 years old, 24 years ago, when she had you. She's probably lamenting as well. I mean, I can imagine what it was in 1999. In fact, the preceding year or years before 1999. Abacha, Abdul Salami, the coup, the this and you remember? But somehow, your papa, your mama, they felt so cool and said, well, democracy is coming. They were able to afford Indomie. 1999, 2000. A Indomie generation. Today, Yusuf don't join. They don't show you on TV. They don't show you on the screen where you are lamenting over hardship, economic problems. They need to do something. Things are in 24 years' time, your children will be on the screen saying the same thing those kids are saying. Cookie shake me. Ask your parents. For those of you who are lucky enough to still have them alive, ask them, what were they doing 24 years ago? Remove 24 years from your age. You watching me right now, 24 years. Take it out of your age. And tell me what is left. In 24 years' time. The children that they are just about to, you see, that's a belle where you go get this evening. That one that your wife or your girlfriend, that pregnancy that is going to happen this evening. In that contraption. Who have no idea that two of you are about to do something now that is about to bring somebody into this contraption. No. In 24 years' time, that meeting tonight, the result of that 24 years, the result of that meeting tonight, in 24 years' time, if Nigeria still exists, those children will be on the screen. This school fees is expensive. They should think about our future. What is all this gossip? This whole thing is too hard. It's too tough. Ask your parents where they were 24 years ago. Tell them what were those dreams. Talk to them. They are your parents. They are still there. Talk to them. Mommy, I have a question. Like 24 years ago, what were you doing? Where were you? Ask them. And then ask them, did you ever think Nigeria will get to this stage at all when you were younger, like 24 years ago, ma? Ask them. Let them, one-on-one. If possible, record their answer. Their sincere, honest answers. And I'm saying it to all of you too. Call your children and tell them what you were doing 24 years ago as a Nigerian. Okay? I was a little boy, so I wasn't doing anything per se. I was just waiting for what the world was going to throw at me. At me. But today, I have teenager kids. I have a teenage daughter. I have a teenager son. Yes. In the last 24 years, So when I saw those kids, I was like, God damn it, man. Their own children are also going to also rise that way and complain about the same thing that they are complaining about today. And they are not yet born. You haven't given birth to them yet. That's why we are saying, can you please join us to demand for the peaceful breakup of Nigeria. Break it up to save lives. Even if our own lives can be saved, we at least save the lives of all these innocent children that are going to be born into this. Your children. You see that future they are creating, that place they are creating. Our children won't survive. They won't. Reverend.
This holy season, wonderful opportunity to train ourselves in the life of holiness, discipline, prayer, charity. It is very sad that in our country, Nigeria, successive governments make us miss the previous ones. During the last administration, Nigerians thought we had seen the worst possible. Now we are beginning to feel that the worst, what we thought was the worst, was even very good. Every year, suffering and hardship increase. It is difficult now to know what else to tell Nigerians. Many people are being driven to crime and violence. As Christians, as God's children, we are invited through prayer and sacrifice to discipline ourselves. 1, don't give up 2, don't, because things are hard, become a problem for others. No matter what you choose to do as your Lenten sacrifice this year, make sure at least that you will never deliberately cause another person more pain or hardship. People are suffering enough, already too much. Don't ever do anything that will cause another person more pain or hardship. Let that be part of your Lenten sacrifice. Let that be part of your training in this school of holiness. Affirm your faith in God. Let go of the material things, because we will all return to dust. And allow your brothers and sisters also to be able to smile. Make them smile with small gestures and signs of brotherly love. May your Lenten season be fruitful.
What shall I say unto the Lord? Yes, Lord. All I have to say, thank you, Lord. What shall I say? Thank you, Lord.
I like that message. You see, where you have poverty, absolute crime increase will also be present. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, and yet educated people are acting that they are surprised